All right, everyone. I think we'll get started. Simply, let's see. Last session said Microsoft is having issues, so we have to stop the sessions. Oh no. Well, hopefully we're okay with this session, but I know cross our fingers. But we'll start with a quick introduction. My name is Kevin Bryant. I work at Adobe, and I'm a customer success manager, and I work really closely with Tori at the Indiana University account. And I'll have Tori introduce herself.
Hi, yeah, my name is Tori Sykes. I am a junior at Indiana University, and I am one of the Adobe student ambassadors here on IU Bloomington's campus. A little bit about me, I am the president of Women in Computing, which is a Luddy School organization that promotes and empowers women in technology. I am also a member of Alpha Chi Omega sorority, so it's been really fun living with a bunch of girls during the pandemic and global learning online. Been very interesting. And then I am also a Adobe student ambassador. We started the wide program for all of our campuses this year. There are about 12 to 15 of us, so that's super exciting. If you have any questions about that, we'd be happy to answer any of those or get you in contact with more of the ambassadors. And finally, as I'm going to talk about a little bit later, I am going to be an upcoming intern with Microsoft this summer.
Woo! Well done. Awesome. And everyone, before we get started, this entire session is going to be about career branding. It's a career branding workshop. And as you guys start to think about your careers and kind of what your brand is going to be, I want you to either come off mute or put it in the chat pod, like, what does branding yourself mean to you? When you think about branding yourself, what does that mean? What does that encompass? And so go off mute, shout it out, put it in the chat pod. Branding to you. Let's see what you guys got. There we go. Nice. So defining your service. I like that a lot, right? It's sometimes tough to explain what your offering is, in your elevator pitch, right? When someone asks, what you do, especially if it's like a tech job or even if it's anything that's remotely technical. Most people are like, oh, I don't think my parents know what I do, right? And it's like, well, you got to like brand yourself. And so in my neighborhood, I'm the Adobe guy. Everyone calls me Adobe. So you just have to kind of, I don't think they know beyond that what I do, but it's I think that's good. So something that distinguishes you from others. Yes. Okay. Conveying who you are in an instant. Tara, that was really, really good. Who you are in an instant. Explaining you and your space. Exactly. And so you guys are getting it. It's explain what you are clearly, because when you think about any type of employer or company that's going to hire you, especially if it's a Fortune 500 company, they may only have about a minute or less to get an impression from you, to look at your resume, to look at your LinkedIn. They're not going to read every single line item, every single detail. So they're looking at that really first impression, and they kind of want to be wowed. So keep that in mind when making your brand. You want to pop, you want to stand out, and you want to be able to explain what you do and what you did, and in your work history, in really clear, concise fashion. Okay. Jessica says she uses branding to create a personality for herself in portfolio pieces. That is really good, Jessica. That's excellent. And we'll talk about the use of portfolio a little bit later. That's excellent. So anything else anybody want to add before we move on? All right. And if you have any examples of your personal brand, we would love to see that. We kind of love to geek out about that stuff. So let me go ahead and get this thing started as soon as I get my career branding page up. 1 second, guys. Anything else, Tori? You see anything else in the chat pod that pops out to you? Or anything else you
No,
want to say about brand?
yeah, nothing in the chat right now, but I think all of those were really great instances of branding, and they all really tie together. Really, branding, it's just a great way to put your foot either in the door or to continue to market yourself to employers, to other people, your peers, anything of that nature.
Absolutely. And even putting it as bluntly, branding is how you get a job. It's like, it's kind of how you're going to get a job. As they ask, what do they ask for? Your resume. They ask for your LinkedIn page, and that's all about your personal brand and promoting who you are. And so in this career branding workshop, we're going to talk about what is a personal brand. And our definition is it's how you present yourself to the world, communicate your purpose and mission. What comes up when you Google yourself, and those are the first impressions. But the Google thing is real because now social media plays a big part. Your Facebook page has to be optimized, your resume has to be optimized, your LinkedIn. True story. When I applied for, I've had two positions at Adobe, and they did not look at my resume. They went straight to my LinkedIn, and I even offered it. Say, hey, here's my resume. They say, I no need. I got you on LinkedIn, and they just Googled it right there. And I was like, wow. So that's kind of the side of how things are changing. And Tori will speak to that a little bit later. It says Jeff Bezos, in case you don't know, the founder of Amazon, is famously quoted as saying, "Your brand is what people say when you're not in the room," right? And that also was said about someone's character. But when you're not in the room, what are folks saying about you? Remember, when you're applying for a job, you can have all the wonderful, stats and all the stuff that they're looking for, but you're not like, they know that you're a good candidate. They know that you are someone that is worthy of this position, but that's not what they're exactly looking for in particular. They're looking for a culture fit a lot of the times. And they also are looking for how you compare against the other candidates. So it's not you versus the company, it's you versus the other 30 people that are applying for that same position at the same time. And it's how does that person stand out? Okay, so just keep that in mind. Why develop your personal brand? It says we live in a digital world. More so than ever, personal branding gives you the ability to not only tell your story in your own words, but gives you the control to ensure that employers see you as professional and employable. So we'll get deeper into that. I want to play a quick video. As this says, personal branding is really being able to articulate your stories to others. And that's kind of what we spoke about in the beginning. Valentina Arizmendi, she was a student at UNC Chapel Hill. She actually now works at Adobe. She had an internship with Adobe, and now she's hired full time. She's done a lot of great work with us. And she kind of talks about how she got her dream internship. So tune into this video. She's super inspiring. And again, she now works at Adobe. I think you'll get a lot out of this. All right.
Hi all, my name is Valentina Arizmendi, and I'm a student at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. Specifically, I'm a senior, so this is my last year, which is kind of scary to think about because that means that in a few months I'll be graduating and the economy will still be feeling the effects of the pandemic. However, with that being said, somehow I'm not too stressed because luckily I've had a few opportunities that have prepared me for unprecedented moments like this. My freshman year, I came into UNC not knowing what I wanted to study or what I wanted to do after graduation. So naturally, I spent that first year just registering for classes that would fulfill my gen ed requirements. And one of those classes was a personal branding class. And there was this big emphasis on developing your elevator pitch and your digital portfolio, which are both so crucial to landing your dream job these days. So for example, my sophomore year, one of my classes had a guest speaker, and after class, I started chatting with him, and he asked if I had a resume with me. And I didn't. I don't carry around resumes. Maybe I should start. But what I did have was my portfolio online, which is even better than a paper resume because I could just pull it up on my phone. So I pulled it up on my phone for him, and at the end of the conversation, he was asking me to interview at his company. And this isn't a unique situation. It is so safe to say that most jobs, like you're selling something, maybe it's a product or maybe it's a service. But what better way to show an employer that you're able to do that than to show how well you can pitch yourself? Because personal branding is really just being able to articulate your story to others. You want to decide how others see you and what comes up when employers Google your name. My dream internship was with Adobe. I knew that my best shot at getting an internship there was to position myself as a creative problem solver and a team player. And considering the pandemic had moved the internship entirely remote, I also wanted to show that I can use technology. And honestly, like my online portfolio did just that. So if we go to Google and we just type in my name, Valentina Arizmendi, UNC. You'll see that, okay, first is the blog that I used to write for when I was a freshman. But the second thing is my online portfolio. And you get there and you see a little short blurb about who I am. Consider it my elevator pitch. There's a picture of me. You can see all of the presentations that I have given. You can see some of the projects that I've worked on. My resume also carries over like the same design, and then there's like room to contact me. So creating this digital portfolio, it wasn't hard because I already had all the content from past experiences. It was just about putting it all together in one place. And that's something that you can do as well. And all the Adobe products make it really easy to do that. It helped me get my dream internship. It can definitely help you get yours. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions. See you all.
All right, go Valentina. All right, and so that was wonderful. And again, Valentina now works here. We actually have her blog popped up about how she, and I'll put this in the chat pod so you guys can check this out. And it kind of shows what she created, which is just absolutely wonderful. And again, this is kind of taking all of her, she did this in Adobe XD, but all of the work that she did over the 4 years and all the stuff that, that was important to her, she kind of meshed together in one really digestible Spark post, which is now Creative Cloud Express. So she was kind of able to kind of hand this out to potential employers such as Adobe, and we could easily see her work. We'd see her story, and this is just so much more effective than just a simple paper resume. So this is just absolutely incredible. And again, I'll link this to you. We don't have to go through this whole thing. I just want to link this to you all in the chat pod, but I hope you guys got a lot out of Valentina's story. Okay, next we are going to, sorry, I just need to do that. Okay, let's talk to Tori. Tell us about how to get started with the digital footprint.
Yeah, absolutely. So a personal brand can seem really daunting. Where do I start? Do I need to have a portfolio even if I'm not a design student? There's a lot of questions, but there's a couple of things that you can do to get started and set you in the right direction. So it seems silly, but you definitely need to consider your social media profiles. What are they conveying to the general public, and can the general public see them? Make sure that those are appropriate messages, but they align with what your values are and who you want to be to other people. It's really all about that reputation. So what are they saying about you when you're not in the room? For me, all of my opportunities to work with Adobe, to work with Samsung, and now to work with Microsoft, I actually got those opportunities from my social medias. I was reached out to apply for an internship and to interview with Microsoft through my LinkedIn. I was also reached out on my Instagram profiles to work with Samsung. So if you want to work with a certain company or you want to get in a certain realm, really leverage your social channels to do so. And again, what are you trying to convey? Something that I really want to set forward in all of my profiles is that I'm a creator. I want people to know that I love to make different images. I love to edit using Photoshop. It's something that you'll see if you were to look me up. You'll see it on my Instagram. You'll see it in my Google search. What path are you considering? What's your dream job now? But what's your dream job in 5 years? What's your dream job in 20? Where can you get those goals and where can you achieve them? And then think about how you want to present yourself to the world. So again, it's not just when you're talking to people. That's super important, and your brand is just as important when you're in someone's space and you're talking not virtually, but it's also really important when you're not there and you're conveying yourself virtually. So that portfolio, that social profile. Actually, if we were to go to LinkedIn, I can pull up my LinkedIn.
I can stop sharing.
Okay. If we were to go over to my LinkedIn, the first thing you see on my profile is I have an updated headshot. That's super important. Something that conveys your personality. My favorite color is purple. The international women's color is purple. I'm super really into promoting and empowering women in technology. So I think that fits perfectly. It also matches my logo. You'll see this logo on my portfolio as well. So it drives everything together. So those are just two really simple things that you can do to make sure that employers are seeing your personality shine through. Another thing I like to do is just up top here is put some of those things that are really important to you, whether that's what you consider a soft skill or a hard skill that you want to show off, or if it's a job. I really like being able to show people that I work with Adobe because they're a super awesome company and they've done so much for me. So those are really important to convey to others. As you come down, it's actually really useful to include links on your profile, feature things that are valuable to your brand. So I have my portfolio. You could click on it. You could see what I have on there for people to look at. If I were to click on it, it would take you to my homepage and you would enter, and it would take you into just a little bit about me. It also on my LinkedIn links to Adobe's IU platform, so how you can get Adobe Creative Cloud for free as an IU student, faculty, or staff member. And then I also make sure I keep my experience updated. This is what Kevin was talking about. They don't necessarily need your resume, and it is still very important to have that resume. But if you have it updated on LinkedIn, it's just as easy for anyone to see it. So making sure you have that. You can also put your education, honors, and awards, really just everything like you would do in a resume. But something that's also super important is this activity. So activity is great because everybody can see it if they really want to look at it. They can see what you've liked. Happy International Women's Day, everyone. But they can also see the things that you've posted. So this is another great avenue to leverage your abilities and showcase what you're creating and what you're doing, what you're passionate about. So as you scroll down, you can see I hosted a workshop a couple weeks ago using stock and Photoshop, and I was able to not only let people know about that, but then also was able to showcase some of my creative skills. As you go down, we still see some of the events that I got to speak at. I let people know that I was a part of that. You also can see fun tabling workshop with the Adobe Student Ambassadors. You also have an opportunity to actually write. You can write an article, write a post. I did that and it got quite a few views. It let people know some things that I took away just from talking to someone from Adobe and things that I have learned. So just taking those couple minutes to make those little additions to your profile will really help you stand out. It'll reach a much larger audience, which is what you're trying to do. So that's like really the biggest part about leveraging your LinkedIn, leveraging your social media. What can you do with those and how can you tie them into your brand to really sell yourself? I will stop sharing.
Excellent. And so I'm going to pause here to see if there's any questions or anything that you guys want to add to this, like particularly about your LinkedIn. Is your LinkedIn cleaned up, or have you not been to LinkedIn in a long time? Talk to me about that, everyone. Again, you can go off mute. It's a super safe space. And also you can write in the chat pod, but how does your LinkedIn look? You know, if you were to be honest with yourself, is there a little bit more cleaning up you have to do with your LinkedIn, or you think it's ready for an employer to kind of view today? So Laura says, it's pretty much up to date. You're searching for career move, but it could always be improved. Got it. Okay. Not much engages I probably should have. Hey, that's okay. That's completely okay. I like people being vulnerable and saying that. And we'll show you awesome tips. And what are some things you saw that, from Tori that you can maybe pick up? Like, Tara, I'm not sure if you want to go off mute or whatever, but did you see anything that you liked from Tori's page that maybe you could sample from?
I think you may need to specify which Tara.
Oh, Tara, I'm so sorry, Tara.
Just looking, well, I know that for sure, like looking at just how cohesive it is among the different channels too. Like I like the fact that she has her own logo.
Mhm.
And that kind of also, again, that not only establishes that she's creative, but the fact that like she can kind of use that and kind of, even with the colors, bring that to other platforms as well.
Got it. That's wonderful. Yeah, exactly. I really like, and that logo, Tori, how did you create that? Did you create that in Adobe software?
Yes. Yeah, actually, this is something that we can run through with Express, but I actually started dabbling in logos on Express. And then once I found some different patterns and stuff I like, I pulled those over and finished it in Illustrator.
Got it. Oh, that's wonderful. Excellent. That's really good to know. If that sounds advanced, don't worry. The second half of this is actually going to be a straight demo. We're going to demo how to do some really easy things. Don't worry. It's not going to be technical at all. It'll be super fun. Jessica, do you want to go off mute really quick and explain your comment? I love that. You're obsessed with LinkedIn, huh? Jessica Donovan. Let's see. Hey, Jessica. Jessica, you might be on mute. I think you're trying to talk. Okay, if not, if we can't get that worked out, she says she's become obsessed with, oh, okay, I see. No problem. Her mic is not working right now, but she's become obsessed with LinkedIn. She's looking for improvement and making it more appealing to recruiters. So we'll talk about that. And then Laura, did you want to add anything? Let's see here. All right. Got a shy group. Actually, we don't have a shy group. We just have a little bit more reserved group, which is completely fine. Interested in making it more.
I hate talking on Zoom.
So do I, but it's really, it's an actual trick. This is completely off topic, but a trick to talking on Zoom is, I'll go off mute. Then you could open up whatever screen you want if you're not sharing your screen. So you can open up a screen that doesn't show everyone's faces. You can just pretend like you're talking to your Outlook or whatever it is, or talking to Canvas, and that's a trick that a lot of people use. So if the faces make you a little bit intimidated. So let's dive in. Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Tracy, go ahead.
Who am I thinking? Who am I? Okay, now, is it Kevin?
Yes, Kevin and Tori.
Okay, Kevin and Tori, I'm probably one of the outliers in this group, but with the LinkedIn, I've begrudgingly got a page and trying to add to it to improve it. So let's see, who's the young lady? I'm losing names all of a sudden. The young lady that just, was it Victoria that showed your page?
Yes.
So that was great. I really did like the triangulation with the themes, with the logos and color purple, all that. So I think that is great. And I have to get there. For myself, I don't want to say this triangulation, but just trying to not bifurcate, but with all of my years of experience. So I am faculty, so lots of online experience. I'm used to talking online. I've been doing this for a long time, probably before some of you even been born, because I don't see any issue. I'm like, what's the issue? I mean, I even did a dissertation with math and it being online, coupled with my administrative, experience dealing with faculty and STEM research. So this is great, but I noticed that, I'm again trying to work through things. I get on there and it's just like, oh gosh, I need to add this, need to add that when response. It's almost like the Facebook parallel. So meanwhile, I'm on there for, it seems like hours. I'm like, okay, I do not have time to get into this, plus I've got kids, my husband's faculty, and I'm like, man, and I can really see the benefits of it, but also trying to think of kind of like a system, a pattern, a process, like you guys are saying about making sure that it's updated. And I've spoken with other folks, and it's like you do not want to have, in essence, like a dead LinkedIn page, that you logged on back in 1978 or something, and I've seen some of those. I'm like, dude, you need to update this. If mine is more update than yours, this is really bad. So just trying to tie all that in. I think it's amazing that recruiters and so forth actually look into all of that. But for me, it's just like, wow, what really needs to come to the fore that's so prominent that potential whomever would look at, just kind of do, I guess, this branding, this thumbnail sketch. I'm a math faculty, again, STEM research development. Who else? Probably shouldn't even say this, but mixed cocktails. I'm kind of getting to this thing now with devices and mixed cocktails. But yeah, so I'm learning. I'm trying to learn from everybody.
That's great, and thanks for sharing that, Tracy. And you're absolutely right. It can be cumbersome to kind of list everything. What I do is, as soon as I start a job, I just take like the job description and I try to like use those key points in there. Like as soon as I get the job, because once you get in 3 or 4 months, you kind of forget and you're kind of like, this is tough. And it's tough to remember the dates. Like, when did I work at this place? And
painful.
So it's really painful. And then whenever you do something that you're really proud of, that you get a lot of kudos for, that, the managers, CEOs, faculty, provosts, deans are shouting you out for, that's the stuff you want to post. Interesting work that your students are doing, things that, once a year, if you're doing this volunteer effort, this fundraiser, those are the types of things, that you want to list. But, take it easy on yourself, don't make it too daunting. You don't want to have too much on there, but, don't be afraid to give it a go. And this next thing that I'm going to show you all, I think will really, so what I want to go through is a couple of, all right, let's see if I can do this. So we mentioned Valentina earlier, and we talked about, we already talked about a logo, but I want to talk about the 5 core components that you can do to kind of make your brand. Number 1 is the logo. Tori showed us this wonderful logo that she created that meant a lot to her. Next is a virtual business card. And business cards is still a thing. And yes, people still ask for them. They ask for them virtually. And there's ways to build them out in Photoshop, Illustrator, of course. But there's other simple tools that you can do to just have like a quick business card. And even a 2.0 to this is actually an email signature to make sure your signature is up to date and that your title is clear. Because a lot of times when I'm talking to 50 different faculty members, I'll just pop up their email and just say, okay, what do they do? And I'll either look at the IU directory or I'll look at their signature and their email. So you want to make sure that's up to date with your current, email address, your cell phone number, everything like that, and your title. Auto-visual narrative, we're seeing more and more of as employers wanting to see personality. So we'll see people using Adobe Rush or Premiere Pro to either write thank you or introductory videos. So let's say, thank you so much for interviewing me, or they'll shoot a quick 2-second videos, or 2-minute video saying, this is who I am. This is where I'm from. This is about who I am as a person. And I also have my resume attached. So just think about what type of impression that makes a potential employer when they're comparing you against, again, 30 other people from Michigan, Nebraska, DePaul University, things like that. Headshot. Women in Tech, they actually had a session. I was actually in Bloomington on Thursday and Friday. It was a beautiful, beautiful campus. Saw sample gates and all that. So it's just incredible. But they had a session where they had professional headshots. If you ever come across someone doing professional headshots, especially on campus for free, do not pass that up. That is something that is so hard to get once you have decided that you finally need it for work. Get it while you're at school. Get it while it's free. please, 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 I'm telling you, get that headshot because you will use that headshot for the next 5 to 6 years. And you don't want something that is cropped from your, Facebook profile, something like that. A nice professional headshot with professional photographer with actual backlighting is not super easy to do, or they'll charge you, like $100. So do it while it's free. Whenever you see free headshot, go, get that. You will not regret it. You'll use it for a long time. And lastly is a portfolio, and we'll talk about that, like showing off your work in a digital form. Okay. Here's some examples, and we're going to hop right into the demo so you guys can see how to create this. So we've talked about LinkedIn a little bit. We've talked a little bit about Spark Pages, which is now Creative Cloud Express. Just going to show you a couple of examples. This is Valentina's page. Now, again, she created all of this in an Adobe tool called Creative Cloud Express. You may have heard it referred to as Spark. That was its previous name. And if you ever use Canva, it's similar to that, right? And we don't have to read every last thing, but this is her education. She has some visuals to go with it. She talks about her key interest, which is social justice. Okay, and she has some links here about, to see her actual exhibit project, some photos to go along with it. She has her TEDx UNC talk that she did, that she has a video right here that you can see it without jumping out of the page. Is actually embedded. Just a couple of photos of her work, some examples of what it is. And then a final rundown, she has a video. And then with a connect with me, which goes right to her LinkedIn, as we see in the bottom left corner. Next one I want to show you is another student that got a job at Infinity Media, and this was kind of his resume, his actual thing that he submitted for this opportunity. His name is Spencer Swartz. He's a marketing student, and then this is how he listed his education, which was a lot better than just a paper resume. It's so much more visual. And then here's his video. He has a quick video that talks about his fall project. And then at the end, this is his digital card, his business card. Now, again, he's handing this off to employers, okay, as a way to stand out from everyone else. And look at that nice professional headshot. The lighting is great. He obviously edited this in Lightroom as well. And this is wonderful. Last thing I want to show you is Vincent Fu, who was a design, fitness, and medicine major. He talks about career branding workshop, actually. He's a medical student at the University of Colorado. And he talks about, again, there's his wonderful headshot that shows so much personality. There's his logo, VF, that he actually created himself. And if that intimidates you, don't worry. That can be, 3.0. Right now, we're going to talk about 1.0. Okay. But then he has the overlay, and then he has, his headshot, things like that. And here are all his social links, website and portfolio. And it says, see how I made all of these. Okay. Now, again, when you're showing this off to an employer, this is just over the top, so fun, so above and beyond. Okay. What I want to do is have you share. First, are there any questions, as we go through that? As we go through those pages. Okay. All right. And Tori, do you want to show off how we would go about doing that? Let's talk about Creative Cloud Express, and I'll put the link in the chat because I want you guys all to create. And last thing I'll say before I hand it off to you, Tori, Indiana University has all these Adobe tools available for free. So you guys have all these tools, Creative Cloud, every single tool within it available for free. If you did not know that, I can send you guys the link about how to access that as well.
Yes, it's actually just adobe.iu.edu. So our very traditional iu.edu with Adobe added on front. And one thing.
Wait a minute, hold on. Can you guys put that in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, because I'll forget.
Adobe.iu.edu.
iu.edu. Okay.
And I just put that in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course. And one thing I think that's really super important to take away from those three portfolios is that they're all from different backgrounds. So we saw someone who does have more of a digital storytelling background, and then we saw someone who is a business student, and you usually sometimes associate business students with very cut and dry. Your resume is the traditional on white paper. And then we also saw a medical student. So still being able to leverage those tools to showcase your personality and how you still tie that in with your career. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we can dive right into Express. So when you type in express.adobe.com, that's will get you on this page. This is actually one of the few Adobe tools that is not an application that you have to download onto your desktop. It is just right on the internet. So if you type in express.adobe.com, it'll take you right here. If you have the IU login already specified, then you have two options. You can log in on the left-hand side at the very bottom with login with Adobe ID. Or if you want to, you can come onto the right-hand side and you can log in with a school account. Either way, they will both take you to your login with IU. So it'll probably take you to this page. You just type in your email, continue, and then it should log you in through IU. And then once you do that, you will see this beautiful homepage. And it's kind of looks like a lot. So where do you begin? And there's a couple different options. If you come over to the left-hand side and you click on the plus button, it brings up all the different types of options that you can create and edit with using Express. So you can make graphics, Instagram stories, Facebook posts, your logo, a flyer. You can make a web page, which is what we just looked at. You can also trim videos here. You can remove a background. You can convert things from PDF to PNG. There's a bunch of different options. So this is a really, really, really useful one-stop shop. And it's really nice because you don't have to have all of those skills that you might need in Photoshop and Illustrator. So if you do, that's amazing. But if you don't let it freak you out at all because this will be really simple to use. Another thing, I like to point this out, all of these things are absolutely free to you through your IU account. There is premium royalties that you get being completely free, being a part of IU. So that is another reason that this Express is so much better than Canva. Don't use Canva, use Express. But is there anything that anyone would like to learn? Would you like to work on a logo? Would you like to work on a web page / a portfolio? We can do both, but is there anything that anyone wants to learn more specifically?
I know Anna mentioned video, and we'll show that in just a second too. I think that would be great. And Anna, I think another good thing as far as like tips, we could also send you, we're going to send you a link to our Creative Cloud Express page that we use. It's going to have all these links. So you'll see all these wonderful examples about what to do, but it makes it pretty simple to do, you know, in here. And so maybe we can start with like a page, I think, because I know we only have about 20 minutes left. So Tori, maybe we want to start with the page so we can see how we can replicate what Valentina and Vincent did. I think that'd be great.
Sounds great. Tara, is that what you were going to say as well?
Oh, I was just going to ask briefly for like your quick tips for when it comes to designing a logo, because like I've had to design a couple like playfully in the past, but nothing that I've actually committed to when it comes to like my personal brand. And we got to see a couple examples. I was just wondering if there's like a couple like top 3 tips when you're thinking about logo creation, especially because there's so many ways you can take it.
Yeah, I would say some of the most important things for me when I was creating my logo was I wanted it to be cohesive with everything else. So my resume, my design resume is also purple. So I was like, okay, what can I do that incorporates maybe a color that is really important to me or incorporates some ideas that I really like as far as like women empowerment or technology. So maybe having something behind that logo that showcases what you're interested in or what like makes you stand out. Another thing that I think is really useful that if you get on Express, you could actually just come up here and type in logo, or you could type in business logo or design logo, and there'll be a bunch of different ideas. And it's actually super useful because you can either just create from that and change it up as you want, or you can get just ideas from it and pull from that and decide what you want to do. And then I would say the last thing is there is a good emphasis on a logo because it does say a little bit about you, but don't let it be bigger than what it is. It really is just something that assists you. So don't let the idea of it being like something you really have to spend a ton of time or design on get in the way, because it's really something that you could just put together with playing and Express for 20 minutes and find something that you really like.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. All right, so if we click on web page and create new, it'll take us to this beautiful and empty page. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to add a title. So I will say my name, and since we're working on portfolios, be my portfolio. You're welcome to add a subtitle. That could be a little bit more about you. You could break it up and put your name down here, whatever you'd like. And then the next part is adding a background. So here you have a bunch of options. You can find free photos already. We can use Adobe Stock because we have Adobe Stock. If you use Lightroom, your Lightroom will automatically be connected because it's our IU account. And if you log into Lightroom through your IU account, it'll bring everything in. You can also connect to Google Photos, Google Drive, Dropbox, anything you've used on Creative Cloud and bring it in, or you can just click this upload photo and you can bring anything in you want. So I'm going to find free photos and can look up anything. I'm going to look up maybe this. This works. This is very business professional. Maybe not what I would immediately pick, but this is good for now. It shows a lot of women in working together in a business setting, very much my speed. So then after that, you can come down here and you can add a bunch of different options. So you can add another photo, you can add text, talk about yourself, you can add a button. The button's really useful if you want to link it to another page. You can add a video. So if you have an existing video of you giving a presentation or a video that was really inspiring to you or anything along those lines, you can add that. You have a photo grid. So this is just a great way if you have a bunch of photos that you want to showcase to put it right here. A glide show is really nice. This is like a PowerPoint. It allows you to put a picture on one side and then text on the other. And then a split layout kind of does the same thing. So if we were to do a glide show, it'll ask you to pick out a picture first. And I'm going to say, we'll do books because I'll talk about my education. I like this one. We can do this. We'll save that. And then I can put text over it. And you can edit your text as you'd like. So you can make it a header 1, which will make it super big. You can also change it to header 2, makes it a little bit smaller, or you can just do regular text. That just changes the sizes. You also have options to do bullet points. You can put in a quote from someone else. Pretty much the basic addition. So I will add my informatics, BS, minors, and by doing that, I have just a little bit about my education. So here I could add some of the things that I'm involved in with school. If I have any photos I want to add, I could add photos. Again, I could add a button or a video, anything like that. And then this time we'll do a split layout. So split layout is kind of the exact same thing, but instead of having this overlay on top of a photo, you actually have a photo on one side, and then you have whatever you want to add on the other. You can also switch these.
While Tori's looking that up, so I tell people all the time I'm not creative at all. My wife is creative. She went to Columbia and in Chicago. She majored in art. So this is all about, what she does. And so what I do is after I add the header and everything, I just do split layout every single time. And the reason I do that is because a lot of time I'm converting or conveying something that has a lot of information, a lot of bullet points. And so it's just so easy to add a split layout, put whatever information I have on the right or left side, and the other side is just an image. And then I can keep doing that, alternating the message and the image so that the when you're reading it, it's a little bit more interesting. And just think of that replacing a PowerPoint slide with just a ton of bullet points, and you're just like drawing a blank. You're like, this is just too much. Having something like what Tori just put, or whatever it might be, alongside of it, it's just so much easier and fresher. So if you get in here and you're like what do I do? Just do split layout. It'll be super simple, super clean, and it'll still look way better. Make so much more of an impression than a PowerPoint.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, I've actually used this to make presentations. Also, a pro tip, if you are sharing this with other people, you can't both edit at the same time. But you can use this to make a project to present to employers. I've used it for both of those, and it is a more interactive, visually appealing way to do so than just a PowerPoint presentation. So, oh, actually, I don't want to do that. Here is really where you can put any sort of information. So right now I am editing my information, so my education, my work experience, but you can also showcase some of your own work on here. So if you wanted to come down and say there is a graphic you created, or there is a talk that you gave, or something that you really want to showcase because it's important to you, then you can absolutely do that too. You can do that by just clicking on photo, or you can do that by clicking on video. If I wanted to link this video for everyone to see after, I could do that as well. A button allows you to put in a text. So I could come up here and need to move this. I could put my LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn is, and by doing that, this will just take someone straight to my LinkedIn when I present it and they click on it. So there's some really super cool options that you can edit and you can add. Is there, I know there's a lot in the chat. Is there anything that anyone would like to see, like a photo grid, photo, video? Does this answer questions? I hope so. Thumbs up if yes, thumbs down if no. Talk more about, yeah, absolutely. So if I were to click on this video option, I could embed a video. So this is really useful because if there's already a video that you've put on YouTube, you can just link that YouTube video, go to YouTube and go to the 3 dots on the side and click the embed code. The other thing that I think is super useful and super nice is if you do not want your video to be public to the whole world, you can actually import that video or create that video on Express, and you can link the Express link here so that people can see it here, but it's not necessarily out on YouTube. I know for me, anytime I'm in a video, I hate the way my voice sounds and I want as little people to see it as possible. So I might not necessarily want to put that on YouTube. Does that answer your question?
It does. Although I wonder if it's sort of outside of, I know we're probably getting ready to wrap up, but if there's any tips that you have on sort of professional looking video creation. I mean, I know we have headshot folks that you might be able to get good looking headshots, but video creation is a bit of a mystery to me. So if you have any resources or suggestions, that would be awesome, because the videos that were in the profiles that you showed looked really great.
And Tori, if you want to, I can show that off really quickly.
Yes, sounds great. Actually, and while you're doing that, Kevin, I would say the #1 resource for videos here at Indiana University is Justin Hodgson. He makes amazing videos, and he does it using Premiere Pro and Rush. So if you're ever interested in learning how to start that and breaking those down into simple steps, he is absolutely the person to go to.
Absolutely. Justin Hodgson, he's an incredible resource, Adobe Education Leader. But if you're in here, you can just go ahead to, let's see, so I'm press the plus button. The plus button is always your friend. Let's go down to video. And there's templates here. Sorry, I just want to exit this out. Okay. And just say Kevin's resume. And so what you could do is, again, all these templates are just kind of, you could start from scratch. But let's say you wanted to, let's just say, put personal growth. It really just kind of talks about like the theme and the music that you'll have. And so if I'm coming from a standpoint where I have like absolutely zero clue about video making at all, this is kind of a nice starting off point. It's very simple to use if you just go frame by frame. And so first you can either put in a video, you can put in text, and my text could be like Kevin Bryant. Okay. And then if I want to, I can put in I can put in like a voiceover is what I'm trying to say. I can also talk about change the length of each slide. So if I just want the intro to be 2 seconds, and here are all my slides on the bottom, and it's asking you, what was I doing? What was your challenge, the struggle? Now, this is kind of what we chose that template for. We don't actually have to adhere to this. We can just create this from scratch, and I can also drag these to wherever I want. Okay. So, and then, for example, with the second slide, I wanted to add like a split screen or something like that. I could have a photo, and this is very similar to what Tori was just doing, right? And so I could have like business I don't know, right? And then here I could say, my background in technology is, and then here I could have, anything else. I could have, my school. Okay, well, for this example, we'll just have this. And I can put some text over this if I want to. I'll press the plus sign. My career was born. That's so dramatic. I'm so sorry. Okay, and I can move this around wherever I want. All right. And yes, there is music that you can add to this too, which is hilarious. And then I can add a title. I can do whatever I want, but this I can have this be a big title. But I'm still not finished. Okay, I can say because, and then the realization can be that they need to hire me. So let's see. I'll just use this one. And then I'll just say like, hire me today. Okay. And whatever. And then if I want to, I can have like, by Kevin Bryant. I don't know. We'll see what this looks like. Right. And then I'll just add a crazy photo. So, this is like the trajectory of my career if you hire me. There you go. All right. So let's play this. I won't promise this will be good, but we just did it in like 2 minutes. So let's see what we created. That makes no sense. Let's just go with it. now, as good or as terrible as that was, you can, the fact is that it's really simple. You can make it your own. You can make a little video. Like in the middle of that, I could have had a video that I shot on my iPhone and uploaded this to it. It could be a 15-second video. And then the whole time I could be voicing over it and saying like, this is what it is. So I know that was really quick. I'm so sorry if that was too quick, but come in here and just start playing around with things. You know, again, you can change the themes in here, which is great. I can change it from light to dark. You can make really interesting things very quickly. You can also, of course, you can download this and share it. You can also download this and embed it into a Creative Cloud Express page if you wanted to, or to YouTube. And I could also get collaborators and stuff. I wanted, you know, Victoria Sykes to come in and help me, she could. So I could get whatever email address and give her an invitation to edit and copy the link as well. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there to see if there's any questions. I don't really have 2 minutes, but the main takeaway that I want you guys to take away from this, have your LinkedIn optimized. Take a look at it. Take a look at Tori's, add us both on LinkedIn and kind of see how ours are set up. Okay, so Catherine asked, can we just save a web page and save as a public and share the link? So save a web page, like a Creative Cloud Express web page, and save as public. No, it wouldn't be searchable. So it's kind of like almost like a digital animator. It's called web page, but it's not going to take the place of a full website. It's not going to act as an actual website. It's just, think of it as just like a dynamic page. Okay. But you can share the link. Whoever has the link, you can share with. Yeah.
Yes. So in order to share a link with someone, you do publish that. So at that point, it will no longer be private, but no one will be able to really search it up unless you share them the link, or if you went on Google and put in the exact information for it.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Optimize your LinkedIn, create your brand, go to Creative Cloud Express. Okay, I think I put the link in this chat pod as well. Create something, make something cool, and impress the heck out of your employers. And then let us know, you know, show it off to us. We still have our information. Again, it's bryant@adobe.com. If you need anything at all, add us on LinkedIn, and we're always here to help Tori and I. So man, you guys are a great group of folks, and I can't wait to see what you create. I can't wait to see where you guys start working. And thank you so much for joining the session.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tori. All right, everyone. Bye. Thank you.